Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to today's podcast. Thanks for joining us live on the video as well. Want to talk today about the issue of the Find and Flip Summit. We just had the Find and Flip Summit a couple weeks ago. It was in Phoenix, Arizona. It was, without question, the most successful event we've ever had. We had hundreds of people there. We had an amazing lineup of speakers. There was so much content given out. It was truly, I hate to use this word because it just sounds kind of, douchey to say, but I mean, it was kind of a once in a lifetime event. I mean, it was one of those things where it was a very unique collection of people that were all sharing some really, really cool stuff. So I thought I would kind of share with you a little bit today about what were some of the big takeaways that I had. And we started day one, and I went out there really to kind of help people to understand what the concept of reverse wholesaling is. There's a lot of misconception. There's a lot of people that are trying to make money on the backs of this concept that we invented called reverse wholesaling. A lot of bullshit that's kind of being shared out there trying to scare people and talk about what, can it be done and can it not? So I needed to clear the air a little bit and need to talk about that a little bit. And then we really kind of began to push on that concept a little more and really talk more about, again, how that relates to not only our real estate business, but how it relates to business and life in general. Start with the end in mind. If you will clearly understand where you're trying to go, then you have a much better chance of getting there. Ask yourself the questions. What does success look like? What do you want this business to do for you? Where do you want to be in a year? Where do you want to be in 3 years? Where do you want to be in 5 years? How much money do you want to be making? Where do you want to be spending your time? Who do you want to be hanging out with? What's the value you want to be bringing to people's lives? What's the big picture? What's the impact you want to answer the questions? And when you get the answers to those questions, then you clearly understand what the end result looks like, and you can work backwards from there. How do you get there? Equally, I had Brett Tanner and Sean Terry both come on to talk about two really cool ways they're generating seller leads out there. Some amazing stuff that's very, very inventive, specifically in cold calling and ringless voicemail. Talked about the way they're creating seller leads right now. We talked about the way our smart system is out there creating seller leads. Just some really, really cool ways that very successful real estate investors and agents are creating a massive amount of lead flow to their business right now, while everybody else is pissing and moaning and complaining that they can't get any leads. We're talking to people and brought people to the table that are creating thousands and thousands of leads each and every month, and how they're doing it in a very, very efficient way. Then the big at the end of day one, we had Grant Cardone come out and give an amazing speech. Grant is a really, really effective speaker. If you don't know who Grant Cardone is, then you need to get out from underneath the rock and go do a little bit of investigating on social media, on YouTube. Go type his name in there and you'll figure out quickly this guy's a hell of a real estate investor. He's built a massive portfolio. Equally, he is a great salesman. He's trained hundreds of thousands of people on when it comes to selling and closing and persuasion, and so he knows the game inside and out. But ironically, he got up there, and I'm not going to even say ironically, but interestingly, his entire discussion was about one word, and it was about commitment. And if you want to be successful, you've got to commit. You got to go all in. There's no half measures. There's no, putting your toe in. You got to go all in, 110%, push every chip in and go full on. And it was extremely motivational. It was a great, great speech. A little off the cuff, which made it even more genuine, where he was really just speaking from his heart and speaking from his core about how he's accomplished what he's accomplished with his wife and his family and his organization over the last few years. So it was amazing. So in day two, we had the honor of having Elena Cardone come in, and she did another amazing speech. The biggest takeaway I had from Elena was courage. And I haven't gone back and reviewed the replays yet, but I just remember sitting there with her and listening to her talk, and she was an amazing speaker. In fact, she was actually voted as the favorite speaker of the entire weekend. Of all the speakers we had, over 20 sessions. And it was nice to have a very, very powerful woman there. I thought what she talked about with her family and what her and Grant have been able to do together and how they play off each other was something that my wife and I needed to hear. And I would venture to say probably many of you, and if you're in family businesses, probably really good to hear as well. But it was one thing I thought was really great, and it just continues to stick with me, was her talking about that you gotta have the courage to fight for what you want and to go for it and to not hold each other back and to be bold. And I found a lot of power in Elena's speech, and I was very, it was very moving and touching for me to kind of hear what she was talking about there. The rest of that day, we had Justin Colby come in and did a great presentation. We had Greg Herline come in and did a great presentation as well. Justin talked about wholesaling. Greg Herline talked about our new fund that we just opened up that you can learn more at investwithkent.com. We just opened up a Reg A fund that's allowing people to invest directly with us. It was really exciting to talk about that kind of stuff. Equally, we had